the Council of Europe Development Bank, as a social bank of Europe, had its first Paris alignment framework and roadmap approved by the Administrative Council. And this is a very, very important milestone, as I was saying, because first of all, it meets a commitment. It really brings home the commitment that the bank made in its development plan, in its current development plan 2020-2022, to align its lending activities with the goals of the Paris Agreement. And in addition, as part of the development of this framework and related roadmap, the bank clarified the specific social lens through which it addresses climate-related issues. And the definition of this nexus between social inclusion, climate change, and then looking forward also with the different dimension of vulnerability in our societies is going to be the specific, as I said, lens through which the bank will look at the mutual interactions between social inclusion issues and climate change issues. Because in the end, the climate crisis is a social crisis that affects the most vulnerable group in society the most. And also, it's a crisis that we are not going to be able to credibly and durably address if we don't take into consideration the potential social impact of the transition on different parts of society. The Paris Alignment Framework of the CEB builds and is clearly related with the joint MDB approach, the joint approach of the multilateral development banks to Paris alignment. The latter, the MDBs framework, is built around 6 building blocks, and the 4 pillars that were identified for the Paris Alignment Framework of the CEB are directly mapped with the 6 building blocks of the MDBs approach. I think this is extremely important because it is important to have a harmonized vision and also a harmonized set of instruments to address climate considerations and climate-related challenges, and to also have a consistent dialogue with our clients, which very often are clients of different members of the MDB family, and beyond that, more generally working also with other development financial institutions that are also working on alignment approaches. So I think that this is an extremely important element. Without going into the details of the 4 pillars, what I think is important to understand is that we're going to, first and foremost, look at the way in which we analyze and assess our projects to make sure that we clearly, for instance, identify climate-related risks, not just in terms of identifying, but also managing them and reporting on them, both from the point of view of physical climate risk, but also transition risk, and not only looking at project level, but also with regards to our counterparties. But risk is only one part of the story, and clearly we're going to be much more proactive in looking at the investment opportunities in the sectors in which the CEB has been traditionally active, to look at the opportunities for climate change mitigation, adaptation, support of the just transition, and also looking at specifically at those solutions that can address different vulnerability dimensions in the context of a changing climate.